Hey everybody, happy Halloween 2025, right? Jim Bull here. We are located along Route 6, which is now a designated scenic byway in Pennsylvania. We're at the Lumber Museum, the base of the Lumber Museum, and right across the road from Denton Hill State Park and Denton Go Resorts. So this is the old ski facility here in Potter County, about 8 or 9 miles west of Gailton. You can't see real good. It's a foggy, rainy day. The rain's coming down across the mountain. If it were just a little cooler, we would have had a lot of snow here in the last 2 days, because it's been raining hard. But I wanted to, I really wanted to come out here on Halloween and tell you some spooky stories. And there's an area that I've been wanting to explore. If you go about a half a mile west here, there's a pull off along Route 6 where there was a Bigfoot sighting or some type of unknown creature sighting in the middle of the night back in 2004. And I've told this story here before, but you know, you got to keep coming back and looking, right? And there's a ravine where the water runs down to help feed that ski resort, or former ski resort, across the road there. Now that's in the process of being opened back up, hopefully in the next couple of years. We're at the base of the Lumber Museum, the Pennsylvania Lumber Museum. If you've never been here, I recommend you bring your family out and check that out. And Route 6 now has that scene. We beat out the Blue Ridge Parkway this year for most scenic road in America. So I'd recommend you load your family in your car and head on out and check out Route 6. It travels east and west across the entire state. But I am at the base of the mountain here at Denton Hill and Susquehannock State Forest. There's thousands of acres of state land here for you to explore. And there's across the road, if you go up to the top of Denton Hill there is a I think it's a 7-day loop to hike, so good stuff, right? So right now we're 9 miles from the summit of Denton Hill, and I've been wanting to walk that ravine because it's off trail, right? It's bushwhack territory. So I have my umbrella out here and it's making things really dark, but I'm trying to protect my camera. You got to get out and bushwhack, right? And get into places where people don't normally walk to really find the wildlife. And especially if a creature like Bigfoot or Sasquatch or whatever you call that creature exists, he's probably not going to be hanging out on the main hiking trail, right? So look, I couldn't get in there. I walked up along the highway, the scenic Route 6 byway, and I couldn't get in there because the weeds were like neck high, and I could have pushed my way in there, but it's been raining, it's soaking wet, there's a little bit of a creek down in there, so I elected to wimp out and come down to the maintained trail. This is the Commissioner's Trail here at the base of Denton Hill. And I know with me talking and walking and making noise, we probably won't see anything anyhow, and it's not a very good day for the wildlife to be moving around because it's been raining. It's the middle of the day. They travel early morning or later in the evening. But this is the time frame I had available to come hang out with you guys. I was working earlier, I was over in Ulysses showing a cabin that's for sale. You want to talk about holy cold. Low 40s, but we were up on the mountain there, the open fields, the wind was blowing 20-25 miles an hour. And yeah, it's really cold over there, so it feels nice to be in the woods and have a little shelter here from that wind. So this is the old lumber museum here that promoted forestry years and years ago in our region. Gailton was a big lumber town, as many of these small towns and boroughs out through here. Pine Creek runs through our area, actually originates here in Potter County. And you hear some road noise from Route 6, I apologize for that. But I really wanted to hike up that ravine. There's nice big rocks up in there, beautiful, beautiful territory for you to see. And it's off the beaten path, you know, if you're gonna see something that might be there or some kind of sign. So anyhow, back in 2004, just along this Route 6 here, if you're not familiar with our area, there was a truck driver. It was about 10:30 at night, and I forget what time of the year it was. And Route 6 is mostly a 2-lane highway or byway for its entire length. But when you get to this mountain here, they do a double lane in case you need to get around some big trucks or whatever the case. So this guy, and it was a stormy night, and no moon, lightning and thundering. I'm hearing voices, and I'm guessing it's from over in that building there. I saw a couple of work trucks over there, so they might be over there doing something. There's a real cool pond over there. I'm not going to take you over there today, and I'm not even sure how long we're going to be out here. I have another afternoon appointment I got to get to, but I just want to stop and spend some time outside. I haven't done it in so long. I'll just take you guys along for a walk. Yeah, like I said, I want to revisit this story. There's actually 2 stories. There's the one in 2004. So truckers coming down, up the road, and there's a car, passenger car, in front of them, and kind of simultaneously, there was a bolt of lightning, which illuminates things, right? And the car in front of him that he was following swerved out into that left lane, that passing lane, and the guy saw something big, tall, hairy, dark, okay, he's assuming hairy, right, standing along the side of the road. Now, it's a 55-mile-an-hour road, and you're traveling fast, and it's raining, and it's lightning, and it's thundering, and just something he caught out of the glimpse of his eye. But he was pretty convinced that he indeed saw some type of creature standing upright, moving on 2 legs, about 8 foot tall, crossing the road, moving into the woods. Now, where I was about in that general area, and I was looking for a mile marker. I'm sorry, I passed one and didn't pay attention to the number that was on there. I think it's about 400 miles across Route 6 on that scenic byway from east to west. And I think 6 is a transcontinental highway. I think it keeps going, man. I think it'll take you into Ohio and beyond. But anyhow, this guy saw this creature, and he was that convinced that he did see something out of the super ordinary that the next day he made a report to the local newspaper, and they ran some stories on it, and et cetera, and then it ends up on the internet, right? It ends up on the internet and goes viral, and we talk about it a lot. But way prior to that, so the reason I like this area is, and I think when I told this story before, I might have been up on the top of Denton Hill, up on that mountain there, walking part of the Susquehannock Trail system, I think about 2 years ago. But the reason I like this, because there was a sighting. This goes way back to the 1890s. In this same similar area, a hunter was out, and this was during the day. And I think it must have been a small game season, because he had a dog with him, and who knows, maybe back in those days you could hunt bigger game with dogs. I don't know what the laws stated then. But just like 30 feet off to his left, this guy catches a movement out of the corner of his eye, and there's this monster, hairy, upright creature. If you walk this trail, there's all kind of cool information along here that you can get about forestry and how to manage forest properly, and the species of animals and plant life that live here. So come, when you're traveling that scenic byway along Route 6, check out this Commissioner's Trail at the PA Lumber Museum after you take a look inside there. Now, so back to the story, right? So apparently this guy's out hunting. It's the middle of the day like we are right now, and he sees something. You catch moving out of the corner of your eye. I don't know how much time you spend in the woods, but you hear things and you think you see things, and you stop and you listen, and then you let your mind go, right? But this guy saw this big, hairy, upright creature, big teeth, all right, and he just froze. He was scared to death. His dog's barking like crazy at this thing, and he had a gun with him. But when he later talked to the local newspaper, I think it was called the Potter Democrat back then. It's a Potter Leader Enterprise now. Same company from what I understand. They've been around a long time. But he reported this, and he said he was so scared he didn't even think about pulling his gun. And as quick as he saw it, it was there and it was gone. And this thing started spreading around. Now you got to remember, this is the 1890s, and there was no internet, right? There was no going viral. Most news traveled word of mouth. And probably don't need this umbrella anymore. I think it quit raining. Most news traveled by word of mouth, and starts getting around, and people are debating whether this guy was, but apparently he was a legit dude, you know, like he was well known in the community, and he wasn't a guy that crafted tall tales, you know. We all get our reputations, right? Either you're a trusted, likable person or you're not, and apparently this guy was well respected in his community. And you know, as small as the population is now, I can't imagine what it was in the 1890s here in the Black Forest of Potter County. So this guy reports this to the Democrat, the Potter County Democrat, the newspaper, and the word starts getting around, and people are going out looking for this creature, right? And then all of a sudden, this other reporter comes along from some other publication and says this has to be a tall tale. There's nothing like this that exists. You know, this guy's making this stuff up. And she claimed that it had to be one of the local wild hairy men that lived in the area. So think about that. I just wanted to throw that out there. You know, this cabin, it's on the market for sale. I'm a realtor. So and I'm not here to promote my business, but if you need help, I'll help you, right? But anyhow, this cabin is in the middle of the woods. It's a stone block cabin. No amenities, no electricity. It's got a fireplace in for heat, you know, gas lights. And people lived in these places and much less back in the day. You know, sometimes a shelter was just a lean-to or a stick hut, whatever you could manage to put together to keep yourself warm and dry, right? So there were people that lived out in the rural areas, in these mountains and these hills, that were classified into certain categories. You know, these wild hairy men, these people that would live off the land and weren't your average citizen, I guess. So, and there still could be some, I guess, out here. I don't know. When you think about the vastness, we were watching we like to watch these outdoor videos online, and Chris out there, he's in the state or national forest, I think, in Oregon, right? Northern California, Southern Oregon, 2.2 million acres. Okay. Now this Susquehannock State Forest, I think on the other side, we're about 4,000 acres on this side of Route 6, but I think it's about 21,000 acres across the road there, and it goes down into Cross Forks and over Lyman Run and Cherry Springs. It's a vast area. And I know just in our little neck of the woods, you know, we have these trails like we're traveling on right now, but I know there's got to be a lot of territory out there that no man has ever stepped foot on. And that's in our little God's country here in Potter County that we love so much. Imagine 2.2 million acres in a national forest with elevations to 15, 20,000 feet. A little stream down there. Elevations 15, 20,000 feet. You know there's areas where no man has ever been, right? What might live out there? Does Bigfoot really exist, or some type of similar creature that we call Bigfoot, or a cryptid, or sasquatch? What do you think? Leave some comments, man. I'm just walking this really worn, well-traveled trail, and you typically don't see a lot of wildlife when you're out on these. You got to get far out. You know, you have a better chance probably driving down the road to see a bear or a buck. Or my wife was coming home from Wellsboro today, and big old buck crossing Route 6. So, anyhow, I'm not going to go a whole lot further. I do have another afternoon appointment. I just wanted to walk out here, and so that's why I like this area. So we have two documented stories here of what we believe to be Bigfoot sightings. And one was a long, long time ago, and even the other was 21, 22 years ago. Sun's starting to come out. I think the rain's finally done for a while. And always remember to look behind you. Well, you just never know what's following you or watching you from behind, right? So I hope you guys watch, like, share this, subscribe to our channel. I keep telling you I want to do more of it. It's just a time thing for me. I love being out in nature. I really wanted to hike that ravine, but I wasn't dressed or prepared to travel through those neck-deep brush just like this, about 30 feet of it, down a hill up the other side. And I know there's a little gully down in there with water flowing through it. So I wasn't prepared today to do all that. Not that I'm scared to do all that. That wraps you back down to the stream and over toward the lumber mill there. That's a cool tour there too. Has the old saw blades, the mill in there, the sawmills and the cutting. I'm not going to go any further because it is still archery season. The weather's starting to clear off, and that is huntable state forest land back in there. So I don't want to tromp across anyone's peaceful setting where they've been waiting for hours to bag the buck of their dreams. I remember when I used to hunt with my father, and you know, you get out in the woods early in the morning, you set up in your stand and got your spot all cleared out and you're quiet. You gotta get out there and get settled for an hour or two before any wildlife's gonna come on by. And here comes Jim diving by with his camera and his little orange hat and umbrella. Hey baby, what's up? We're making some video. And I scoot your prize buck. You got your bow drawn, right? You're up in your stand, you're ready to release it. Here comes Jim, and the thing takes off. So we don't want to go there. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Jim Bull Talks on YouTube and Facebook. We do a lot of spiritual and faith-based talks, and I love to do this outdoor stuff. I want to do more of it. It's awful dark. I'm sorry. Yeah. And you'll have some raindrops on the camera lens today. So, but it's just, you got to roll with it, right? The sun's coming out. God is good. Get outside and do something, right? Come drive our scenic Route 6 byway here. There's so much to see and do. So many state forests and outdoor activities you can get into along the way. You don't got to go to Colorado, man, or Montana, or any of those other states. It's all here. You just don't have to climb as high to get to the top of the mountain, right? So snowmobile season's coming. We got antler deer season, bear season's coming up. Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to you all, in case I don't cut another one between now and then. But check out my other videos, check out my properties for sale, and all that other cool stuff on my YouTube channel. We love you guys. Thanks for watching. Later.